my friends. It's Bill Hinckley here in Cincinnati. I'm a flight doc here at UC Health Air Care and Mobile Care, and I am privileged to be the current president of AMPA, the Air Medical Physician Association. And I've got to tell you, today was a damn good mail day. Got my copy of the March-April 2013 issue of Air Medical Journal, and it's got an awesome pic on the front of Intermountain Life Flight out of Salt Lake City, the program of Dr. Frank Thomas, AMPA founding member. Phenomenal work inside, including work from Stephen Thomas and the CCT core group about pre-hospital administration of antibiotics for open fractures. But what I really wanted to share with you is this. Every couple of months, as the president of AMPA, they ask me to write a column or a forum for the Air Medical Journal. And after working pretty hard on that, it seems a shame not to share it with as many people as possible. So I thought I would share it to video as well as with those who have seen it in the journal. And I feel pretty good about this one. I called it, Let's Get Foamed. Foamed, F-O-A-M-E-D. And you were thinking to yourself, Hinckley, you have lost your mind. What in the hell is that? Well, let's find out. It starts out with a quote, and the quote is by Dr. Joe Lex, emergency physician. And last year, Joe said, "If you want to know how we practiced medicine 5 years ago, read a textbook. If you want to know how we practiced medicine 2 years ago, read a journal. If you want to know how we practice medicine now, go to a good conference. But if you want to know how we will practice medicine in the future, listen in the hallways and use foam." Many or even most of you will initially be skeptical of what I'm about to say. Why? When it comes to the application of technology for medical education, doctors are laggards. Working in the realms of emergency medicine, critical care, and EMS, we're actually fairly early adopters of clinical technology. But when we hear terms like social media, we can't run away fast enough. I'm way too busy to get mired in that type of time sink, you're thinking. Well, let me tell you a story. One administrative day in the early spring of 2010, I sat in this office, staring at the pile of roughly 30 unread journals, white papers, CME newsletters, clinical throwaways, and various articles which I had accumulated over the previous 3 months. Sitting on my desk, stacked high enough so that the pile was at significant risk of crashing to the floor. Sound familiar? I pushed it aside and I lied to myself that I'd get motivated and catch up on reading it all just as soon as I was able to finish off the 15 other clinical, administrative, CQI, and research projects on which I was working. Well, just then one of my flight docs popped into my office and asked what I thought about the use of push-dose pressors in the HEMS setting. And I thought to myself, why has it become a daily occurrence for one of my flight crew to ask me about clinical topics I've never heard of? I asked her for a journal or a textbook reference about push-dose pressors so that I could educate myself. She shrugged and instead just referred me to this, Dr. Scott Weingart's mcrit.org. My career as a physician was transformed that day. mcrit convinced me in about 30 minutes that the educational power of Web 2.0 is for real. Soon I was spending at least an hour of every day, except for the clinical shift days, educating myself via the internet. The quality of the medical education I was able to effortlessly find there was astounding, and being caught up with the literature was no longer a drag, it was flat out fun. For the first several months I lurked anonymously and distrustfully, concerned that any contribution or comment I made might be ignored and unseen, or worse, mocked. Then I heard a podcast on Dr. Mike Cadigan and Dr. Chris Nixon's outstanding Australian blog, lifeinthefastlane.com, about a particular passion of mine, the measurement of airway management success in critical care transport medicine. Inspired, I wrote a short paragraph in the comments section. That very same day, as a direct result of that comment, I was invited to be interviewed for another podcast, Farm, prehospitalmed.com, by Aussie AMPA member Dr. Min Lakong. Within a week, I had borrowed a colleague's webcam, taught myself how to Skype, and was video conversing with a kindred spirit on another continent, one of the most rewarding experiences of my career to date. So, what is foam or foamed? Free, open access, meducation. The term was coined in June 2012 in Dublin, appropriately over a pint of Guinness. Foam is a movement. It's a revolution. It is, according to lifeinthefastlane.com, medical education for anyone, anywhere, anytime, and is the future of medical education and lifelong learning. It is absolutely free of industry influence. Big Pharma does not hold sway in the foam world. Foam is a rapidly growing international community, holding a fascinating real-time discussion about how medicine will and should be practiced in the future. The discussion is currently dominated by emergency medicine, critical care, and pre-hospital care EMS, but it is multidisciplinary. Barriers between physicians, nurses, and paramedics are broken down by the internet, leading to a healthy and even playing field for conversation. It is inclusive of a multitude of different platforms, including but not limited to blogs, podcasts, online videos, PDFs, photos, tweets, Google Hangouts, and yes, even Facebook conversations. It lacks formal peer review, true, but post-publication, near instantaneous, worldwide crowdsourcing largely serves the same purpose. Even better, with regard to continuing medical education, foam is actually a time saver. By the way, it goes without saying that I do still read every issue of Air Medical Journal cover to cover. My friends, we are not getting any younger, but year by year our transport medicine crews are. Many, if not most, of your team members are probably already using foam. I personally found it very difficult to lead and educate a team that was more up to date with the latest evidence than I was. I, today, am a better clinician, educator, and medical director than I was that day almost 3 years ago when I pushed that teetering pile of paper aside. Even if you never make a single e-comment and you solely lurk through the world of foam, I'm still convinced that you will be too. But there are very few foam consumers who do not also become foam producers. The benefits of contributing will likely become rapidly apparent once you enter this world and can be summarized extraordinarily simply. Foam is pure, it's fun, and it works. Foam is a lightning-fast accelerator of knowledge translation for those who grant themselves access to it. All of our patients will directly benefit from your contributions. My friends, thanks for listening. On behalf of AMPA, the Air Medical Physician Association, I ask that you recall that AMPA is an international group. Neither A in AMPA stands for America. Carpe diem, get foamed, and vision zero.